Hello artists! Today we are making this stained glass heart. I made mine using paper, pencil, black paint, and some watercolor paints. You can make yours using any coloring tools that you have at home. For example, you could use black marker or black crayon instead of the paint, and you can use any coloring tools instead of watercolor paints if you don't have any at home. Let's get started. To make our stained glass hearts, we're going to use a piece of paper. Mine is white. You can use a different color if you have one at home. And we're going to start with our pencils. On my paper in the middle, I'm going to make a heart as big as I can. So I'm using the whole paper for it. So when I make my heart, I like to do one side and then the other. There's a lot of different ways to make a heart. If you have a different way that you like, you can do that. I'm just going to go nice and lightly, really big, both sides. There we go. Then I'm going to add a border around the edge of my heart. If you would like to skip this part, you can, but I'm just going to do half circles all the way around. This is going to give my heart a little extra Valentine's Day theme to it. Then I'm going to draw straight lines going across the heart in random directions. You could use a ruler to do this, or you can use any straight object that you have in your home. For example, I can use a book as my ruler because all I need is a straight edge. So I'm going to lay it across, but my lines are going to go from the edge of the heart to the edge of the heart. I'm not just going to go across my entire paper. So when I'm tracing a straight edge, I put my pencil against it and I start and stop on the heart like that. So now I'm going to turn it, maybe go across the other way. Now I'm going to be painting the spaces in between the lines, so I'm not going to put a whole bunch of them. Like, I'm not trying to make 20-30 lines going around because then my spaces would be way too small and it would be really hard to paint them in. Now, if you don't have paints at home, you're coloring in between them, so you could probably fit a few more than what I am putting on here. Again, I want you to make this with whatever materials you have at home. There we go. I think that looks about good. Maybe I'll put another one over here. Space is a little bit big. Let's see. Yeah, that looks neat. So once you're done drawing your straight lines, you can go ahead and use either some black paint, or you could use a marker to trace all of your lines. So I'm going to use a little bit of black paint. I have just some basic acrylic paint here. You could use tempera paint, or you can even use watercolor paint, or like I said, you can use a marker to trace these lines, but it should be black or a dark color. So when I'm using this paint, I'm using a little bit of water so that it will give me a nice smooth line. And I'm just going to trace every single part that we just made. It doesn't matter the order that I do this. But I'm going to start at the top. As always, I hold my paintbrush like it's a pencil. And I'm practicing making nice smooth lines with my paint. This is a tricky skill and it's going to take us a lot of practice. So when you first start tracing your heart, it might be a little bit more challenging, and then as you go, it should get a little bit easier and easier. So go ahead and pause the video and trace your heart, or all the lines of your heart, including the inside and the outside border, using either your black paint or your marker. Once you're done tracing all of the lines with either paint or marker or crayon, Then you can use any coloring tools that you have to color in the spaces. I'm going to use some watercolor paints. You could use crayons, you could use markers, colored pencils, or you could also use paints. Whatever you have available to you will work just fine. Like I said, I'm using some watercolor paints. I'm going to carefully color in each space. When I'm using my coloring tools, I'm carefully filling in each space, and I'm trying my best not to go over the lines into the spaces that are next to them. So go ahead and fill in your whole heart. I'm not going to color around the outside of the heart though, because that is going to be cut out when I'm done. Once you're done coloring your whole stained glass heart in, then you can carefully cut it out. I'm going to make sure that when I'm cutting, I have my thumb in the small hole of my scissors, my other fingers are in the large hole, and my thumb is always up to the sky. I hold my paper with my other hand, and then I carefully cut right on the edge of my artwork. So I'm not going to leave any white space on the outside of it, and these little bumps are going to take me a while to cut around, so take your time, go nice and slow. This is really good cutting practice. Once you're done cutting, your stained glass heart is complete. Don't forget to take a picture of your finished art and turn it in so that I can see your work. These also make really great Valentines. You can write a message on the back and give it to someone that's special to you. Have fun!